Ashley, as we get into March Madness, we're talking about a different stage for a lot of these kids playing. It's a big stage, a lot of pressure, a lot of eyes. It's gut check time for a lot of these players.
Well, one of the things too is any of the seniors who might be involved in the tournament, for a lot of them, it's their last opportunity to play what some would call meaningful basketball. So do they have the stomach for it? Because oftentimes you see people have a mighty fall and it gives opportunity and gives way for teams that have some parity to slide in there.
Yeah, and conversely, this is their last opportunity to make a stand, an impact on scouts, whether it be international, WNBA, or NBA.
But we're talking about some of the players that made impacts on us, some of our Canadian men's and women who are participating in the tournament. So you love a local from your native Quebec.
Yeah, Bénédicte Mathurin, I mean, this is a standard Quebec basketball player who knew his job was to get a scholarship in the States, and the only way that he could do that was to be a lockdown defender. But we talk about a lockdown defender. Bénédicte also shoots over 40% from three, so which means he can shoot lights out. This tournament is about momentum, getting that momentum, whether it's a hot player or a hot team. A lockdown defender, but he can score points. 30 points versus Illinois. He was a Pac-12 player of the week. I love him coming out. And he plays for one of my favorite teams, the Arizona Wildcats. Go Cats.
I am super into a number of these Canadians who have had an opportunity to play on a big stage, whether that's being the youngest player at the Olympics or representing Canada in the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifier in Puerto Rico this summer.
Which you were
where
at.
I just happened to be at. Got a nice little tan, got a little sight of the action, right? But I love Shayna Pellington. She is a guard from Pickering, Ontario. She plays for the Arizona
Wildcats.
Wildcats, go Cats. And they had a bad beat last season, right? They lost to Stanford by 1 point in the NCAA finals. So Shayna Pellington is the perfect combination of athleticism and grit, but a light touch around the basket. Stanford, shout out to Alyssa Jerome. She's going to be representing the defending champions. Those are two girls that I really love.
And you also love another person from Kingston, Ontario, my former collegiate alumni destination, Aaliyah Edwards.
Aaliyah Edwards is fantastic. She plays with this like unbridled joy. She was the youngest member of the women's Olympic national team who went to Tokyo in 2020.
You know what? I love Aaliyah too because she plays for the Yukon Huskies, which I still believe. I know we're on different sides of this story. They won 4 titles in a row. They were the standard. And when you are the standard, it's almost like Alabama or Georgia in the NCAA for men's football.
Right.
That is your 1A. When you're coming out of high school as a woman, you want to see the Yukon Huskies call you up. You want to get that letter because they have the best facilities, they put the most money, and still to this day, they are the most visible team in women's basketball.
You know what? Dawn Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks might have something to say about that. Stanford, Arizona, as we mentioned, there's a lot of parity in the women's programs coming up. And you mentioned it. UConn, yes, they are undeniably a dynasty. They won 4 titles in a row. But over the last 4 years, they haven't even been to a finals. So they need to act now. Paige Becker's coming back, which is great. And then Edwards is going to be there. And a nice story about Edwards as well. She wears purple and yellow braids in her hair. And that's because it's a tribute to Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. And so she's been repping that since they tragically passed away.
Yeah, we're just trying to give you all the information you can about the Canadian players playing for these March Madness teams. Also remember to check out our bracketology on OLG's game plan for all your information before you pick your Super Sunday selections.